Web of disappointment exiting the theatre after enduring Madam Web. I found myself grappling with a profound sense of disappointment. It's not every day that a film manages to encapsulate nearly every negative aspect of cinema, but Madam Web somehow achieves this dubious feat: cringeworthy dialogue. From the first cringe-inducing line to the last, Madame Web bombards viewers with dialogue so contrived and artificial that it's painful to listen to. It's as if the writers raided a repository of clichés and poured them indiscriminately into the script. CGI nightmare. One would think that in an age of advanced visual effects, a film like Madame Web would dazzle audiences with its CGI prowess. Instead, viewers are treated to a visual spectacle akin to a low-budget video game cutscene. Plot purgatory. Attempting to summarize the plot of Madame Web is an exercise in futility. The narrative meanders aimlessly, lurching from one nonsensical plot point to the next without rhyme or reason. Flip-flopped wisdom. Taking iconic lines from Spider-Man lore and twisting them into nonsensical aphorisms is just one of the many sins committed by Madame Web. It's as if the filmmakers took pleasure in defiling the legacy of beloved characters. Talented cast, wasted. Despite boasting a cast of seasoned performers, Madame Web squanders their talents with lackluster writing and direction. It's evident that even the most dedicated actors couldn't salvage this sinking ship. Chemistry deficiency. The lack of chemistry among the cast further compounds the film's myriad issues. Scenes that should crackle with tension or emotion fall flat, leaving viewers wondering if the actors even bothered to rehearse. Release rationale. One can't help but question the motives behind releasing a film as abysmal as Madame Web. Was it simply a tax write-off for the studio, or a misguided attempt to cash in on the popularity of superhero franchises? Disrespecting the fan base. As a fan of the Spider-Man universe, it's disheartening to see such a beloved franchise mishandled with such blatant disregard for quality. Madame Web not only disappoints, but also disrespects the very fans it purports to entertain. Future damage. The prospect of more films featuring the abysmal characters introduced in Madame Web is cause for concern. If the studio insists on mining this creative wasteland, it risks tarnishing the legacy of the Spider-Verse irreparably. Missed opportunities. With the resources and talent at their disposal, the creators of Madame Web had the potential to deliver a compelling addition to the Spider-Man canon. Instead, they squandered it on a forgettable mess of a film. A lesson in mediocrity. Madame Web serves as a cautionary tale for filmmakers everywhere. It's a stark reminder that flashy visuals and star-studded casts mean nothing without a coherent plot and compelling characters. Wasted potential. The Spider-Verse is a rich tapestry of storytelling possibilities, yet Madame Web fails to capitalize on any of them. It's a missed opportunity to explore the depths of this beloved universe. Financial folly. Releasing a film as universally reviled as Madame Web is not only disrespectful to audiences, but also a poor financial decision for the studio. It's unlikely to recoup its production costs, let alone turn a profit. Narrative nonsense. Attempting to make sense of the narrative twists and turns in Madame Web is an exercise in futility. The plot is so convoluted and nonsensical that it's impossible to invest in the story or its characters. Character catastrophe. Speaking of characters, Madame Web fails to imbue any of its protagonists with depth or complexity. They're little more than cardboard cutouts, devoid of any meaningful development or motivation. Directionless despair. The lack of a coherent vision behind Madame Web is evident in every frame. It's a film adrift in a sea of creative bankruptcy with no clear direction or purpose. Forgettable fare. In the pantheon of cinematic disasters, Madame Web is destined to be forgotten. It lacks the staying power of truly memorable films, doomed to fade into obscurity alongside countless other misfires. Audience alienation, by alienating its core fanbase with subpar offerings like Madame Web, the studio risks losing the goodwill of audiences altogether. It's a short-sighted strategy that undermines the longevity of the franchise. Final verdict. In conclusion, Madame Web is a cinematic travesty of epic proportions. From its cringeworthy dialogue to its nonsensical plot, it's a film that fails on every conceivable level. Save your time and money for something more deserving, like a root canal.